Shelley, welcome. Love having you on. We are going to talk a little bit about one of your programs that we've got again on next year, and it's the wonderful Lead to Empower. So I want you to give me the Shelley version because I know you love all of your programs, and I guarantee we're going to hear that you love this one the most. But I think whenever you're talking about any of them, you love them all the most. I want you to tell us what is it about Lead to Empower that resonates. What is it doing? Who are we empowering? What are
Mm.
we empowering them for and to do? And what are you seeing when you run this program?
Yeah. Oh, there's so much I love about empowerment. If I think about a really sort of purpose-driven reason for empowerment, it's about legacy. It's about what can I give people that then they can take into the future without me. And so this concept of like, is what I'm is what I'm teaching my people now, giving them the ability to go out and make something better of it, or become better themselves. And so, at a legacy point, there's that. At a really practical level, it's about less disruptions. It's about less reliance on me. It's about where this program actually kind of came from. It was designed, created back in 2018. So this was sort of pre-COVID, where there was a lot of restructures, a lot of redundancies, but there wasn't like a huge, like, unemployment was still sort of sitting at I forget what it was, like a 5, 6, 7% or something. And so the program was, how do you remain secure without your role or your manager without being dependent on your role or your manager or your organization. And so this was like, how do I actually own my own career? What are the things that I need to be employable anywhere, anytime, in the way that I want, in the way that I choose? So from an individual perspective, it's like, I don't want to have to, I remember when I first joined the workforce, um, it was still last in, first out. And happy to say that it wasn't long after I joined the workforce that they're kind of like, that's a stupid idea because we're losing really good people and we're keeping people that we probably don't want. So, but, it was last in, first out. And essentially, my growth and development, or my next role, was dependent on what my manager thought it should be. And we become sort of conditioned to just sit down and wait our turn. And we know that that's not the case now, but there is, I think, still some thinking in the workplace around my development is the responsibility of my manager, and that if I don't have the right leader, I won't succeed. And I'm like, that's a really big condition to base your success around, is, the ability of my manager. Even if they're wonderful people, if they've got a team and they're doing the things that they're supposed to be doing, they're not going to have the investment in your development that you want them to. And so you're constantly disappointed. And so what this program does is it takes leaders through some really simplistic kind of focus areas on, how do you get your people to take ownership of it? How do you get your people to go, you know what? I drive my outcome, I drive my behavior, I drive my performance, I drive my knowledge and what I know and how I grow. It's all owned by me. And hey, if you want to be part of this, that's cool. But that's kind of a additional extra. I'm not reliant on that. I actually am okay with all of this myself. That's kind of the idea of the program.
I love it. I used to always say to staff that reported to me, your career. And they'd be like, what? But aren't you going to help me? I'm like, I'll support you. But actually, it's your investment that matters. So the last thing you want is me to be doing it for you because it's then not about you. And I think where you see in an organization this failure, and I've seen it in many organizations, there's almost this shift that says we've got some people that still expect it. And then we've got this new group coming through that say, actually, I am in and I'm going to own it, right? And then you have this little group in the corner that get quite, I don't know, bitter and twisted because they're not part of this, they're not transitioning. And they're seeing new people come through and kind of take those steps and, take active steps. to position themselves for opportunity.
Mm.
And if you're sitting in the corner waiting for someone else to do it for you, all you're going to do is get more bitter and resentful and frustrated. And guess what that leads to? It means you're then not seen as the right person to do that with anyway.
Yeah.
Um, so there's such a powerful opportunity in building that awareness of responsibility. Like, to me, it's two-way. You know, as a leader, you build the environment where they have access, they can, connect, they recognize where they want to go. So all of that around discovery and building the right environment for people to thrive and
Mm.
reach their full potential. But actually, it's not on you.
Yeah.
And if you think it is, you, again, that's about you. That's about you wanting to fix and change and do for others. What do they say? Give a man a fish versus teach a man to fish. So that's what this is all about, right?
Oh, absolutely. We're teaching. And the other thing that this is helpful for leaders who struggle to have development conversations with people who are like, I'm not ambitious like you are, Shelley. I don't want to climb the ladder. I'm fine doing if you're a leader who's experienced someone like that, it's like, oh, where do I go with this? Like, how do I work with this person? And so this program is also really good because it gives you some strategies to help to develop people who think they don't need to be developed. And there's a really simplistic logic behind this, and that is, if you think you can just stay and just kind of do your thing and just be safe and secure here forever, you are kidding yourself, because this role will not exist in this capacity in the future. And if you're not willing to get ahead of it, you'll get left behind. And not only will you get left behind within your industry, it's probably across the board. When we're seeing automation, we're seeing, this really great connectivity with machines and artificial intelligence and humans. There is a need for every single human being on the planet to pick up their game, to continue to develop and evolve. So it's not a nice to have anymore. This is your survival kind of thing. And so don't want to
Yeah.
doomsday it, but that's kind of the reality.
No, I think you're right. I think the other issue is if you've got someone sitting in a role and they say to you, "Oh no, I'm really happy being a team leader. I just want to be a team leader. That's all I ever wanted to be. And now I've been in it for, I don't know, 37 years, and I want to stay here for another 37 years." And you think, actually, you're not doing me any favors. You're certainly not doing people any favors. So sometimes it's not about them not being ambitious, but actually they got to the point where they want to stay there, and they've got, I don't know, 5 years till they retire, and they want to stay in that job for 5 more years. But actually they become a blocker to every one of those other new people coming through. And equally, I always say, you need different leaders. You
Mm.
need yourself to be led by different people, but actually your people need that too. So there's such a danger in having people that just want to stay in that same job for really long periods of time, because it's actually not helping anyone. So I used to always say, well, that's all good and well that you've reached the level that you want to be at, but actually we don't want people staying in these roles without that ongoing investment and development, because actually leadership itself is developing at such rapid rates. There are such opportunities for you to build that craft. And unless you're prepared to be invested in that, it's not all career is not always about upwards. There is opportunity. There's so much opportunity sideways with career, that actually keeps you fresh, keeps you engaged, equally lets the people that report to you learn from others and learn from different experiences and have different opportunities within that leadership spectrum,
Mm.
which I think is so important. So you've got to be able to have these conversations.
Mm.
They're also about moving people on that have stayed too long.
Yeah, absolutely. So some really practical kind of tools and processes that we go through with this one, and helps to, like, there's a lot of self exploration around, like, what am I connected to versus what do I want, and do those align, and is there anything that I've been telling myself that actually doesn't serve with what I want to achieve. And so it's quite exposing in terms of that individual experience, but it's unanimously, this is one that people walk away from and just go, whoa, like, I'm now actually seeing opportunity and potential and possibility outside of what I was before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That vulnerability is really interesting as well, because again, um, it's like a lot of, the programs that you run, it's really the importance of recognizing what you're trying to get out of it because you need almost validation or, some of that stuff. Um, this is another great one about you need to leave yourself out of it because often, and I would hazard a guess that some of those leaders that do want to be that one person that helps every person in their team go to where they want to go, that's again all about them. It's
Yeah.
actually nothing to do with people that they're supporting, but it's really easily kind of wrapped up in this is all about you, but actually it's all about me. And what I need I need you to, thank me a million times, or I need to be, the one that you said, oh, they gave me this or they do that. Sometimes there's some of that wrapped up in kind of that gratification. And I don't know, I think for me, the common thread through all of your programs, and it's probably what I love about them, is this real importance of knowing yourself as you then become the one that knows your people. So it starts with you. And so often we are caught up in it's about me as opposed to and for good intent, for good reasons. It's not because we're great people, we love what we do and all those things, but it's easily missed
Mm.
that it's about me, not you. And I think that itself, that awareness, can, overnight, you can be a different leader because letting go the part of it that's about you actually means your focus is all about others then. And, that's great leadership, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a beautiful skill to be able to master. And I think sometimes you can slip back into old patterns. And so the more people you have going through this, I would say, if you're coming to one of my programs, bring a colleague because there's so much value in the program's over or it's in between, because they run over a number of weeks. Um, I need someone to hold me accountable, or I need someone just to help me raise awareness. Hey, Fran, you're doing that thing again. That thing you said you didn't like to do and that, limits others, you're doing it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
That's
Okay.
that's a nice, safe accountability piece there, right? You're right, actually. It is easy to slip back in. And sometimes it's the busyness that lets us, you use that as a bit of a cop out. So busy, default, 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 jump, I'll just do it for you, it's quicker. Um, but again, if you are really, if you are a great leader, you're focused on building future leaders, right? Actually, every action you take as a leader
Mm.
is about helping someone else be better at what they do, and again, take those steps to be better at being that future leader. And I think the program that you've got, if I look at them, yeah, they can be done in isolation, but I think I love how connected they are and how they almost create this building block.
Mm.
All of them have that focus of awareness, but actually they're then actually honing your skill in just a slightly different kind of um, you know, focus area within your leadership toolkit, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think all of them can be a little confronting though, right? Because it does take you out of, you know, we we all think we're pretty good at what we do. And actually this is about taking you to the next level, which is going to be uncomfortable. Um, but that's where the magic happens. So for me, it's, push, um, pushing people to, think differently, challenge what they've thought before, but actually just give them a different perspective to consider. It's to me, that's the best development we can offer anyone. And if
Mm.
we can continue to see people coming through these sort of programs and really seeing the impact of that in the environment, man, we've got huge opportunity, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm all about transformation. This is why I'm always a little bit careful about the feedback that's given on my programs. If you want the warm and fuzzy and you didn't get that in my program, that's great. I'm not going to change my program. I don't want this to be warm and fuzzy. So this is not just come along and it'll make you feel good for a minute. It's come along.
It's hard. You got to do the work.
I'll create a safe space, but you have to commit to being here or just don't. And again, I say that with all of my programs. If this is not the place for you to be right now, it is okay for you not to be here. But if you are going to be here, then be in service to the whole group. Because when your camera is off or you look distracted, you don't just impact me as the facilitator, you impact the other people in the group. And so, with all of my programs, it's like, make the commitment, come along, or don't, and that's okay.
Yeah. I think that's a really powerful message. And I think people have to be ready for it as well, right? You have to be open. You have to be, again, you have to be prepared to get a little bit uncomfortable. And you've got to be prepared to contribute and do a bit of the heavy lifting. Like, leadership, I say it's a muscle, right? And it's like you have to practice it. It's a craft that you need to continuously hone. And as new and different thinking is emerging or new thinking to you, you gotta read it first, then you gotta absorb it, then you gotta hear it, then you've got to do something with it, then you've got to reflect on it. Like there's all of these different parts. It's like anything we do. We don't hear it once, then we know it. We don't hear it once and go, oh, that's interesting, and off we go. This is about absolute immersion, then a real commitment. Say, now I'm going to do something with it because I've got this stuff. I've learnt this stuff. I've got to do something with it. So, it requires effort and commitment, and organizational support to actually get in there. But, again, if you grab that with both hands, not only are you going to be amazingly better at what you do, the people around you will be better for it. Leadership is such an impactful action or set of actions, right?
It's definitely where the magic happens.
Yeah, definitely. But anyway, I can't wait. We could talk all day about your program because you know how much I love them. And I love talking to people, 3 months, 6 months after they've done your programs, because I think it's, again, one of those things that you need to walk away and really kind of allow yourself to sit in the reflective space, and then recognize actively what are the steps I'm now going to take that let me be better, because it's all in our control, right? This is just stuff that we can learn and then do. So I love it. I can't wait to see and hear from more people that part of these next year. And yeah, keep helping us drive the industry forward, Shelley. We love it.
Thanks, Fran.